All right, start out with clay and try to make it flat, but not too flat, because you're going to be rolling it evenly by using 2 wooden sticks on each side and a rolling pin, and you have to stand and roll it back and forth because we want a nice wedge of clay. When you roll clay like this, it's called making a wedge. And you're going to push it against these wooden sticks so it won't get flatter than the wooden sticks. This might take a few minutes. You want it nice and smooth, because today we're going to be making a loom. A loom is something that you weave on out of clay. Notice how the clay spreads and gets longer and smoother. And now I'm going to flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to keep wedging it. To pick a texture, I have different textures here, and you can see some of them. And what I'm going to do is press the texture carefully into the clay. So I'm going to put it face down, and I'm going to press my fingers all across the texture so it makes an imprint into the clay. And I want to take my time doing this and really press. Okay, when I pull it up, you can see I have the design in the clay, and I'm going to continue the design down here. I'm going to pull this up, and I have more of the design, and I'm even going to add it on the sides. Next, decide where you want to have your loom. So the center of my loom I'm going to put here. Just going to hold it down, and I'm going to use a potter's needle, hold it down, and carefully cut out this square. Then lift it up, and you have a square, and you're going to take that square right out of the center. You're going to set that aside. And then decide what shape you'd like to make your loom. I'm just going to do an organic shape or a random shape. And I'm going to hold my potter's needle. I'm just doing kind of a wavy line. I'm going to clean off the clay. I'm going to finish over here. And now I'm going to pick off this part of the clay, put it aside, and with a little bit of water on my finger, I'm going to smooth the edges where it looks like it was ripped, and it smooths very easily. I see it's a little bit uneven there. I'm going to take my potter's needle, and I'm just going to trim it a little bit around here. There, I like that better. I'm going to smooth that. And I'm going to smooth the inside. With this square that you cut out, if you want to cut out one of these designs, or a couple of the designs, you can even, I just cut that out, I'm going to smooth it a little bit. You can even add that as a decorative enhancement somewhere on your loom. And to do that, you need to scratch it, or another word is score it. Add a little bit of slip, which is clay and water. I'm going to scratch where I want to put it, and I'm going to add it right there. So that will stick on. All right, next step is to add the holes for where your string is going to go through to make a loom. You don't want to do it too close to the edge, So just move back about a ½ inch, and you're just going to press lightly at first, and you're going to skip a space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you want to go across, again, not too close to the edge, and you're going to add the same amount right across from each other. Now what you have to do, now that you see they're across from each other, you want to make the holes bigger so that you will be able to get your needle through there. So you're going to push the wider part of the stick all the way down so it touches the table. And then you might want to take the pointed side again and just make sure it went all the way through. Now you notice the clay is gray. That's because it's very wet. It's going to have to dry a bit before we put it in the kiln for the first firing. And it will turn it into glass or ceramics, and I'll show you some that are finished. Okay, before I show you some that are finished, we don't want to just pick this up now because it could fold and get ruined. So what I'd like you to do when you do it is get a piece of cardboard, and you're just going to slip it underneath the loom and make sure it's underneath, and then when you lift it up, we'll put it on some flat surface to dry. And now let me show you some that are finished.